The air was thick with desperation. On a cruiser deep in the galaxy, a lone Mandalorian stood against impossible odds. Din Djarin, the stoic bounty hunter, had finally cornered Moff Gideon. But the true threat wasn't the Imperial officer. It was the Dark Troopers, an unstoppable wave of metallic destruction pounding against the bridge door. Grogu, the small, vulnerable foundling, was within reach, but their escape seemed an insurmountable dream. Din had fought countless battles, faced down formidable foes, but this felt different. This felt like the end. His quest had been singular, unwavering: protect Grogu and find him a Jedi. A Jedi, a mythical figure from forgotten tales, a whisper in a galaxy that largely believed them extinct. Din had searched, followed faint leads, encountered Force sensitives, but none felt like the true protectors, the legendary guardians Grogu needed. He had put his life, his very code, on the line for this child, journeying through the gritty fringes of the underworld, always believing in a destiny for Grogu beyond his own capabilities. And now, at what felt like his final stand, that hope seemed to be extinguished. The Dark Troopers were breaking through. Then, a flicker, a distant, familiar hum. Not the blaster fire or the crushing footsteps, but something resonant, impossibly precise. On the ship's internal monitors, a lone X-wing, a ghost from another era, sliced through the blackness of space. It docked, silent and imposing, and from its ramp descended a figure cloaked in black, his face obscured by a hood. The Dark Troopers, previously invulnerable, began to fall. One by one, then in a swift, devastating sequence, their reinforced durasteel frames crumpled, severed, or crushed by an unseen force. The figure moved with an almost ethereal grace, a dance of destruction, utterly focused, utterly powerful. The green blade ignited, casting an otherworldly glow that painted the corridor in emerald light. It was a lightsaber, but not just any lightsaber. This was wielded with a mastery that transcended mere combat. It was art, it was power, it was the Force itself made manifest. Every swing was deliberate, every parry precise, every thrust lethal. The intensity, the sheer overwhelming presence radiating from this individual captivated everyone on the bridge. Even Moff Gideon, typically sneering and confident, was struck silent, a dawning horror on his face. For Din, watching this unfold through the security feed, a slow, breathtaking realization began to settle. This wasn't just a Jedi, this was the Jedi, the one he had been searching for, a figure of myth stepping into the harsh reality of his life. As the last Dark Trooper was dispatched with an effortless final blow, the hooded figure approached the bridge door. The Force flowed through him, pushing the heavy blast door open with a quiet ease that defied its bulk. And there he stood, pulling back his hood, revealing a face both familiar and profoundly significant: Luke Skywalker. The moment was a punch to the gut, a wave of profound recognition. Here was the farm boy who destroyed the Death Star, the hero who faced Vader, the son of Anakin Skywalker. He was no longer a legend whispered in cantinas. He was real, standing before them, a beacon of light in their darkest hour. Grogu, sensing his presence long before his reveal, had already reached out with an excited coo, a deep resonance echoing between master and student. For Din, it was the culmination of everything. The validation of every dangerous path he'd taken, every sacrifice he'd made. His quest wasn't in vain. He had succeeded. He had found the legendary Jedi. Then came the heartbreaking choice. Luke had come for Grogu. He offered him training, a future with others of his kind, a path to understand and wield the power that pulsed within him. Din, the stoic warrior who had always worn his helmet, who had never truly shown his vulnerability, faced the ultimate test of his love. To protect Grogu truly, he had to let him go. He had to trust this powerful, benevolent stranger with the life that had become his entire world. With a heavy heart, he knelt, inviting Grogu to say goodbye. And in a moment that solidified their profound bond, Din Djarin did something unthinkable for a Mandalorian of his creed. He removed his helmet. For Grogu, and for Grogu alone, he allowed himself to be seen, to be truly vulnerable. The raw emotion on his face, the glistening eyes, the unspoken words of love and longing. It was a scene of profound sorrow and even deeper love. Grogu, reaching out a tiny hand to touch his father's face, mirrored the pain of separation, but also the hope for a future. Watching Grogu walk away, hand in hand with Luke Skywalker, was a wrenching moment. It was the end of a chapter, but the beginning of another. This encounter wasn't just about rescuing Grogu, it was about bridging the entire Star Wars saga. It connected the gritty, morally ambiguous underworld of bounty hunters and mercenaries, where survival was key, directly to the epic, cosmic mythology of the Force and the ancient struggle between light and darkness. Luke Skywalker's arrival wasn't just a cameo, it was a profound emotional anchor, validating Din's journey and reminding us that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, hope and true Jedi Masters can still emerge to guide the lost. It was a moment when myth truly became reality, reshaping the destiny of a foundling and, in turn, expanding the canvas of a galaxy far, far away. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this pivotal moment. What did Luke Skywalker's arrival mean to you? How did it change your perception of the Mandalorian's place in the Star Wars universe? Share your feelings in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through a significant Star Wars moment, please consider subscribing for more thoughtful explorations of the stories we love. Until next time, may the Force be with you.